There's a mayoral election in Chicago, and there's not a lot of good choices. But I'm going to tell you why you want to vote for Paul Vallas, even if you don't like the fact that he created a bunch of charter schools in the Philadelphia school system. I actually worked for the Philly school system when he was the superintendent of it. And why you don't want to vote for Beetlejuice or Chuy Garcia. First of all, Lightfoot, when she was a prosecutor, when she worked for the DOJ, she actually helped Rahm Emanuel and the Chicago police cover up for police brutality. And as it turns out, she's friends with Jordan Marsh, the attorney who was at the center of covering up police brutality for the city of Chicago. Lightfoot was Rahm Emanuel's choice to make sure that this didn't get out. Now what about Chuy Garcia, or Uncle Chuy? He's not a nice guy, and let me tell you what happened during the last mayoral election when he was in a runoff with Rahm Emanuel. First of all, now everybody knows in Chicago that Jesus Chuy Garcia has ties to former Illinois Speaker of the House, Mike Madigan. And one of the things that was a mystery that came out about Mike Madigan was an aide sent him emails about an SAing cover-up in Champaign-Urbana. Now, I know what this is about because my dad was part of it. If you covered up SAing, that was part of the way that you showed faith to Madigan. And for those of you who go to the University of Illinois, Champaign-Urbana, the cover-up in Champaign specifically has to do with fraternities at the University of Illinois, Champaign-Urbana, drugging little sisters at fraternity parties, and the pledges SAing pull a train on the little sisters who are knocked out. And then if you become a member of one of these fraternities that does that, well, you're in with Madigan. My adopted father covered this up for a former friend of mine from high school who's a school teacher now who did this. But also this email was about cover-ups of essays in general. And if you pause and read this email, or rather read this Facebook post, this is from a School of the Art Institute student who was SA'd at a DIY show. If you were in the Chicago DIY scene about 8 years ago, you might remember that there was a rash of SA, particularly of college students. Well, this was facilitated SA. This is a zoom in of this woman talking about what she experienced and what her friends experienced. But this man and other men were assisted in SAing young girls by a fundraiser of Chuy Garcia. And this woman was threatened by that fundraiser because Garcia did not want this to get out in the last election. And I'll let you pause and you can read what the guy was doing. Here's a second page. But yeah, Uncle Chuy Garcia covered up facilitated SA. Isn't that sick? He's a sick human being. But anyway, that leaves Paul Vallas. That's why you should vote for Paul Vallas. Doesn't cover up for police brutality. Doesn't cover up for facilitated SA. I'm so glad I don't live in Chicago anymore. That place is filled with some sick people. Good luck, Windy City.